Get out of town. It's all of us. Welcome, kids. We're live. Caleb, you seem confused.
Hiya.
I think we're live.
I'm a little triggered.
What does that mean?
Your face went like this. and then you came in and said, "Hey, we're live." It's super delayed on my end for some reason. The video.
Oh, serious? That's weird.
And for some reason my laptop's webcam light is on, even though I'm not using that at all. So
what?
I'm not sure what's going on exactly.
You know,
how are you guys? Ben,
doing well.
Good to see you. We've been all kind of tag teaming here.
We have. It's been months, literally, since we were on together. I think it was end of October, which is a huge long time. So it's nice to see you and talk to you in person. I massively enjoyed your mirror video this week.
Very cool.
That was great. Very, very
Put a post.
cool.
Put a post to that mirror. Put a post to that mirror video inside of the chat if you wouldn't mind, Mr. Caleb Pike, aka the Golden Boy. And by the way, everybody, it's Wednesday, December 16th, 2020. We're seeing the end of this year. It couldn't come sooner. I mean, come on. Let's get this one over with. We're not saying we're going to wake up on January 1st and everything is going to be solved and all our problems are going to be solved. But the reality is, come on. Let's just get this stupid year done. Yes, +1 on the mirror video. So great, Kit says. Dev is here. Colin, Benjamin, Oliver, Ryan, Clay, Bill, Benjamin, Pat, David, and people keep streaming in. And by the way, just so you know, even though all three of us are here and the title of the stream is Three's Company, I changed it to Three's a Crowd about 15 minutes before we went live because this gentleman who's nodding his head a little bit, looking so dapper and colorful over there in the Czech Republic, he what happened, Ben? What was going on over there in the Czechy world?
So this evening at about, 9 o'clock, I ended up setting off a big render, went in to watch. My kids have got into Breaking Bad. I'm not entirely sure that's massively appropriate for their age group, but what the hell. So we were doing kind of an episode a night, and they're at 9 and 12. It's fine. They got halfway through an episode and the internet just completely flaked out. So Netflix ground to a halt and then nothing. I mean, this happens every now and again. You get a 5-minute outage, but this just went on and on and on and on. And it came back 5 minutes before we went live. So
yeah. And somebody was trying to tell you that your kids weren't supposed to be watching that, is my guess. I don't know. The universe stepped in, kid. That's what happens sometimes when our parenting goes wrong. And I've done a lot of bad parenting. A lot of bad choices. I'm like, I was fine with that when I was 12 years old. And then I'm like, I don't think that was such a smart idea. Maybe I shouldn't have made my kid watch that movie. Though at this point, he doesn't care. I don't know.
I mean, my grandmother showed us American Werewolf in London and Hellraiser when we were like 9. So I figure
explains a lot. It explains a lot. Caleb, why don't you tell us what you're drinking so we can get the drinking game going here? It's not really a game, but you know, it's part of the show. What you got?
All right, So I have a properly chilled Firestone Walker 805.
Oh yeah, 805, the area code. This is
the lighting's off. I don't know what's going on today.
This is the California area code. Yeah.
So I've been told. Nice. Yes, I've been told this is quite the staple of the Californians. So buddy of mine hooked me up with that. So that's what we're doing today.
Very, very nice.
It's a nice can design again. I kind of like that. I like the black and silver. It's like, do you remember those Death cigarettes from the 90s? It kind of reminds me of that somehow.
I'm telling you. Yeah. Just follow. Nice. Caleb is very quiet and Jem is rather loud. Well, that's true, but I don't think you're that quiet. I think you're just a little subdued today, Mr. Caleb. Ben, tell us what you're drinking today. I'd like to know.
Check.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I'm on a dry Sicilian red that I've already made inroads with. Even the glass is not clean, so that I've been enjoying this evening already. Yeah. So I'm just
admitting is the first step. Admission is the first step, so it's okay. Cool. Very nice. So a beer and a wine. I was going to actually have wine. I have a bottle here on the table, but I decided I'm going to go with this right here. This is my favorite flask I got years ago from one of the sound companies over the holidays. It's just a little hip flask, but it's a Electrosonics one. And I don't own Electrosonics, but it says Cheers on it. I've got a Glenlivet Double Oak in here, and that's what I'm drinking. It could really be anything, but it is Glenlivet Double Oak. So to you boys and to everybody, go ahead.
We can do this first, and then we'll get into this. Let's at least get some drinkers,
for goodness
and
sake.
then have that
All right,
conversation.
good.
All right,
there it is. Boom,
No,
right
sorry.
there.
Cheers.
So how have you not got the bottle of this anymore? I'm just wondering why we're in the flask.
Just for fun. Because it's a Cheers Christmas flask. Because I got it originally during the holidays many, many years ago. I went to the beach about 2 months ago with the family and had it with me, as you would when you go to the beach in Oregon, when it's a little bit nippy, as it always is. And you have a hip flask. And I thought I lost it. And then, or anytime I'm outside.
With my kids on some day trip, I always make sure I've got a hip flask. That's completely normal. Yeah.
You said that last time too when I told you, but I lost the hip flask.
I don't know if you're want to talk, Mr.
Yeah, come on.
Show for your kids.
Yeah, exactly. Unbelievable. I thought I lost this.
The Czech Republic's the main meth country in the world. They need to know about their kind of cultural heritage.
In Oregon, we run a close second,
PSA.
I think. Yes, PSA. So this here, I thought I lost it, and then I took out a jacket the other day, and it was sitting there conveniently exactly where it's supposed to be, in the little zippered front pocket there where I have easy access to the hip flask. So I found it. I figured, why not? That's what I got it. I got it going here.
Nice.
So Camera Flask come true on this episode. Cheers. Yes, it did. It did come true, Dev. I've got a few more of these flasks, some nice ones. Sky says, good to see you, gents. I better get a drink. Gonna go a White Russian, because why not? Because never in my life am I drinking a White Russian. But I respect people who drink things like White Russians, and they put Bailey's cream in there. I still don't understand how something that's dairy can have a shelf life of forever. I don't want it in my body. Leave it in the bottle. But, I'll buy it for people. I'm happy to give it to them. But when I buy it, I only buy the little Baileys because I can't have that bottle in my house. It just goes against everything I believe in. But that's okay.
Can't have that on your conscience.
No. It's just like when I pass it, I think my stomach's going to... Okay. Harrison says, hey. Green tea with Sailor Jerry Rum. David Carroll's having. Wow. We're getting very, very, very interesting here. Okay. I got it.
Never tried green tea with booze.
Yeah. Interesting. Welcome. Oh, God.
Very unique.
Yes. Okay. So, speaking of food, we've got one of the kids back today. We're going to be having, it's going to be Rigatoni Alla pink vodka sauce with sun-dried tomatoes, and then sausage, peppers, and onions. The trick, by the way, is pepperoncini or banana peppers. You've got to put those in with your sausage and peppers, and they just give it a little bit of a tang, a little bit of the juice in there too with the olive oil, salt, pepper. It's going to be a good meal when we're done with this in News Shooter. I'm just saying. There you go.
We'll enjoy that. Very nice.
Nice.
Should be very nice. Do you know what's on?
Speaking of food, I'm eating a giant sandwich of audio delay, so I think I'm gonna step aside here
and come back in.
Maybe reconnect. Somehow
okay, hold
I think
on.
I'm seeing you before you talk.
Okay, do me a favor.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
That's amazing. Hold on, just give me 1 second. I'm gonna switch over here to you and I, and then I'm getting rid of you, and I'm adding Ben. So then that way you can hop off and do your thing, and it's a beautiful thing. Go do your thing. We're ready.
Beautiful.
All right. Kit says, I had a bottle of Bailey's in my liquor cabinet for a few years, and let me assure you, it does not last forever. Interesting. See, my point exactly. David's back after a few months. Appreciate you being here. The format has changed a little bit, meaning there is no format anymore for Camera Flask. It's a weekly chat. We don't care how many people show up. I mean, we love people to show up, and we want you to keep showing up. But really, it's a free-for-all. We're much more connected to the chat nowadays. It's more about conversations. Bill's having some tacos, and I'd be interested to find out what people are doing production-wise right now, or if there's any questions that have to do with pre-production, production, or post. So that's always up for grabs. We're still trying to decide if we're going to do a show next week. I think once Caleb gets back, we'll have a conversation about that. And what's up, Neil? Good to have you here. And yeah, what's everybody drinking? What's everybody having for dinner? And what kind of camera equipment have you purchased? What kind of production equipment have you purchased recently? You know what I just ordered, by the way? I just ordered Matthew's Studio Equipment is doing a 50th anniversary thing, and they've designed to scale with all working parts of a C-stand. And apparently it holds your phone. It's expensive. It's like $100. But I love Matthews, and I bought a miniature C-stand for my desk. I figured, why not? You know, come on.
Spot who's working again.
Well, you know, I felt like I had to give myself a present.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So, you know, there you go. It's the little things.
I like it.
I was saying, have you seen this, Caleb? There's Matthews released a 50th anniversary miniature C-stand. It's teeny tiny, and it's like to scale, and it's all working parts. So I bought one, and then of course Ben said, I guess now I know who's working. You know, so whatever. But you know, you got to do it. Your audio is very low.
Oh, is it?
Oh, very, very low. Very low.
All right, folks. It's just one of those days.
It happens.
For some reason, YouTube is quiet, but you guys are super loud.
What is it? Wait, YouTube is... we're super loud to you?
Like, playback on my computer is fine. But
Yeah.
This is like ear blasting loud. Just somewhere.
All right. Should we go back to the two-shot for a minute, or what's the deal?
Test
You're coming up. Keep going. Keep going.
Check.
A little better. A little better.
Test 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
Ah, yeah.
Check,
There you
check,
are.
Check.
There we go. That's it. All right. So let's see what we got here. I'm hearing a little bit of myself coming back in now, but I think it's doable. Let's just leave it. All right.
I had my mic muted.
All right. Neil's asking about outdoor interview tips. Give us some more information. That's a pretty broad subject. So, Neil, happy to talk about that. Just clarify a little bit in terms of where the problems might be or where you'd like some tips.
I've got a question for you two. Have either of you seen, I only noticed this evening on a Facebook DaVinci Resolve group, the Voodoo Post panel. Have either of you come across this thing?
I don't know what the hell that is.
Okay, so I didn't know what this is. And this seems to be based on a kind of generic control panel, which can be then remapped for almost anything. And it's called, the actual panel is called a machine, but with an S in the middle, Machine Studio. I feel this is something that Caleb may have stumbled across, but by the look on his face, I'm guessing not. No. And then this company called Voodoo Post have made an overlay that goes over this thing and turned it into this, and then the software that goes with it to map it for Resolve. But it looks amazing. And you buy the panel, it's about $500, and then by the time you buy the license for the software and the overlay, it runs you about $750. But it's a huge panel, massive amount of control that's all mapped to the individual pages, the color, the cut, edit, everything in Resolve. So I'm kind of really excited to have a go with that. It looks amazing.
Please put a post up. We'd like to see that. And I still haven't seen your link to the mirror video, Caleb, so I'm just going to keep asking for that.
Oh, sorry.
Bill
died, so it's just one of those, all the things are breaking.
No worries. Bill just got the Sigma 18 to 35 Rockstar lens.
Excellent.
David
Uh-huh.
Cadell, music. Since I was here last, I won a big film scoring competition out of 11,000 composers for the show Westworld. J.J. Abrams was one of the judges. So if anyone needs
Wow.
music for their film, hit me up. Congratulations, David. That's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
nice work.
I would love
Super
it
dope,
if
man.
you would. Can you do me a favor and send me? Just send it to, I don't know. Just go to the c47.com and send me an email, whatever that thing is, a form. Give me your contact information, and I'd love to hear more about it. And we are looking for people to have conversations with who are in the industry on News Shooter. It may or may not be the right format, but I'd love to talk to you more about it. So there you go. There's that. Caleb looked and sounded great before he rejoined, but now he's stuttering and I can't hear him at all. That was a while ago, Clay, I think, right? Clay,
okay.
come back in and tell me if that's a problem. It
Check
says
1,
Caleb
2,
is
check.
lagging like crazy. I don't know. All right. On pre-production for a short nature doc. Was thinking about using my Ursa Mini Pro since I own it, but I think I may rent a C500 Mark II or C500 Mark III to try something different just for the heck of it. That's never a bad idea, Benjamin. I mean, you've got a camera. You're working on a dock, nature dock, by the way. Ursa Mini Pro is not going to be, I would say, the rock star of autofocus, if that's something you'd like to take advantage of. C500 Mark II is pretty interesting camera because you can set it up to be full frame, you can set it up to be Super 35, you can set it up to be 16 millimeter frame. So you've got a lot of options when you're, even using a prime lens in terms of getting different fields of view. So I think it could be something interesting.
And also, I would also say that in terms of just robustness, and I don't know when you say nature doc whether this is something that you're going to be out and about for long periods of time and in all kinds of weather. But I would kind of be inclined to trust the Canons more in terms of weather sealing than the Ursa.
Yeah.
Maybe a consideration.
Cool. Neil is clarifying, shaping natural light outside. So two things. Obviously, at least for singles, a 6x6, but going larger, 8x8 is sort of the sweet spot without getting too huge on basically diffusing light, and that's for shaping. But I think the biggest thing that people forget about is just negative fill and getting negative fill. It's really tough in brightly lit locations. If you're on a ski slope, you're on a beach, neg fill is really hard, but one of the best things you can do is just put a whole bunch of it down on the ground. And that also can eliminate problems when it comes to like bounce off of grass and things like that, where you have that hitting skin tone and you get that green on people's skin and that kind of stuff. That smirk, Ben, is ridiculous. So I would say just neg fill is you're so cheeky sometimes. What
No,
is
it's
it? The
comment.
comment?
It's
It's comment.
Yeah, it's comment.
All right. So Neil, I would say that would be those would be the things I would be thinking about. And sometimes that's just lots of big pieces of black fabric. Obviously, duvetine is fantastic, but it can get quite expensive. And so just having heavier moving blankets, but they sell them where they're black. And you can just get big moving blankets and put those down, and that creates a lot of negative fill. And thoughts, Caleb or Ben? I'll now have to be reading the comments and getting a smirk on my face. Any thoughts for Neil on outside and shaping light?
I think you nailed it. You've done a lot of content on this in the past. And check out some wandering DP videos. He's got some good stuff on outdoor stuff.
I like how Cassie's taking the piss here, and she's like, "You guys need to coordinate your light and color temps." There is truth to this.
I don't think she's taking the piss at all. I think she.
Well, she's not,
Valid.
but she knows what she's doing. She's calling us out is really what's happening, and I appreciate that. And I think that we let things go a little bit in our I don't know, episode 93. What's going on here? Something I've got to bring up. I see it down here. We're going to keep that in mind. I don't know what I'm bringing up here. Come on, Camille. Coming in. Here it is. €5 for the booze. I'll drink to that. Let's do it.
Thank you.
Come on. Let's drink to that. Yes.
Thank you,
okay.
Camille.
Yeah.
Cheers to you.
All right, Cassie. We'll spend some time on that. I know. I've been lazy. Good. Interesting, Neil. Neil's moved outside a lot because of COVID reasons. So, I would say C-stands are huge. You got to have some weights and stuff to hold things down, even just,
sandbag.
clamps and things, sandbags. But, you got to do that.
Sandbags the big thing. I tend to, and if you don't have the resources, the space, and everything to be putting like huge 8x8s up as well, just decent stuff for bouncing as well. But you gotta. I use polyboards outside quite a bit as well, but you just got to have a lot of weight.
Yep.
To stop that thing blowing over. That's the thing. Heavy stands, lots of dirt, stick on them.
I wouldn't say that you need more lights. You might need more mirrors, Tommy. That's what you might need. Forget about cameras. Forget about lights.
Don't buy
Just
lights,
get some
buy
more
mirrors, Tommy.
Don't buy lights, buy mirrors. That'll be the new channel.
Thank you for the comment. That's very kind of you, Tommy.
That'll be Timmy Kalalway will be starting a channel. It'll be Timmy Kalalway, and it'll be all about mirrors. So it'll be lights, more mirrors. So
have either of you played with the Dido kit with the mirrors?
No, I have the Lightbridge ones, and I think they're brilliant. Yeah.
You use them a lot?
A lot, no, but I don't use anything a lot right now because I'm standing in front of a Zoom setup. I was starting to use them, and I was especially using them for tabletop stuff, and they can be pretty brilliant for that. I really am drawn to the smaller sizes, really kind of sizes that Caleb was using in his video. And what's really nice is the coatings and the different, the different variations on them really create different looks. So I tend not to go with the straight mirror kind of way. But yeah, Ben, I only use real lights.
That did surprise me that the smaller sizes were my favorite. Because when looking at the Lightbridge, I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this tiny little thing?
Yeah.
I would need the big one, which is like $2,000.
Yes.
Or something crazy, just for the single large piece.
They're amazing.
But
yeah,
a foot, it's perfect. And the little ones for close-up stuff.
Yeah, and it really is amazing when you're moving it closer or further away from the light, how broad that small mirror can become. And I think they're fantastic for specials. Like, a special is just when you're putting a little bit of light onto a particular area. And with a lot of the new lighting fixtures, really nobody has that dual lens system that Dado has. That's a patented lensing system that nobody can really duplicate. If they do, they're going to have an issue. So I think mirrors is a great way to not necessarily get around that, but to get that precision in terms of light hitting certain things. So you could take it even further steps, like where you took your mirror and you had gaff tape and you're creating essentially window effects. You could create like a little hole on a mirror, and it would basically just have a small circle, and it would just have this point of light coming down on something. So I think you really can experiment a lot. It would be fun. Yeah.
Also, I didn't do it in the video or talk about it because it felt a bit rip-off-y, but you can also take diffusion filters and put them on the cheap mirrors, and now you're kind of creating that Lightbridge, because their big thing is it's really high quality, well made stuff that's easy to rig, but it also has these like layers, right, to create like more softness. So but you could take a I don't know, 1/8 whatever gel you're into, or filter, frost, whatever, and then just tape it to the front, and you can kind of mimic that where you're getting still kind of a harsh geometric reflection, but it's got some softening too, which is interesting.
But it's such a cheap.
I still want to get their stuff someday.
Yeah, but the reality is,
bucks.
Yeah, that stuff is built for sets and day in, day out, everything you're going to do, and and they don't have the same problem that a cheap mirror does, which will break very easily if you're not taking
Right.
care of it. It's just a
Which,
different.
mirror or
Yeah.
getting the acrylic kind of is a great workaround.
Exactly, and so it's definitely something that I would recommend you play with. I mean, and most people are not out there working on set all of the time right now. A lot of us have, stuff that's happening more within our home, or we're working from home. So that idea of being able to go out to a, home improvement store and just spend $30, and just start playing with things. Tabletop's a great way to do that. I always say that, you know, lighting is all about scaling up. And so you can use tabletop as a perfect way to learn about lighting. You can learn relationships between smaller and larger sources of light, harder and softer sources of light. And really the game, when you start scaling up, which is still sometimes overwhelming for me to think about, you're lighting a scene for a football stadium, or 10 blocks in a city or something like that, but really it's all scaling up. And that's what things like Cine Tracer are great for too, because you can start to place lights into virtual environments and understand how they will react to larger spaces. But the stuff that you did in the video, Caleb, and you're just taking essentially still lifes and you're lighting them and using different mirrors and different sizes, all of that stuff is stuff anybody can do. And then when they figure out how the light is reacting and where it's coming from and what it's doing, and in your video you combined a softbox along with a hard light coming from a mirror, all that stuff is stuff that people can experiment with for no money at all, basically. And then when they get onto a real job, they'll have a real sense of, well, I want the light to look like this. Well, you just have to scale up. Then you rent your light bridge larger fixture, and you know what kind of mirror surface you want to use, and if you want to combine it with soft light as well. I think it's brilliant. I think it's a great video. So I'm gushing on you today, but it's good work. Good work.
Yeah.
Good work,
everyone
kid.
should just go on Amazon, search for your favorite action character, movie character as an action figure. Like I have a little Han Solo I've used in videos in the past. And it's great because your 24-inch by 24-inch softbox now becomes essentially, a 24-foot monstrous, sheet. And you can go ham playing with stuff like that, which is fun.
Yeah. Well, David's got a complicated tabletop shoot coming up soon. Do it. David shoots a lot of stuff that's, making drinks and behind a bar and things like that. This is a perfect place to start using mirrors, start replicating sunlight coming in and all that kind of stuff. Start playing around.
And the other David has a great question. Have you tried using LED panels with mirrors instead of hard light to see if it would behave the same? I mean, Jem has played with the light bridge, so he might have some thoughts as well, but I found it's really interesting because you have two things at play. You have essentially, if you think about it like a mirror, the light hits the mirror, but it doesn't, the edge, the non-mirror part creates essentially a square flag. So the light that enters and hits the mirror is replicated on the other end.
Correct.
It's really messy. Like you just got to play with it to kind of get a feel. But I had almost all the setups. I used this cheap like dado light knockoff I found on eBay.
Yeah.
And it's a spotlight. And I found when you opened it up to a wider degree, that was sharper than if you spotted it up. So kind of similar to like how shadows would react.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like on an LED light, not necessarily a tungsten Fresnel, but on an LED light, like when you spot up an aperture light, it gets kind of blobby. Whereas if you, back it off, it gets sharper. So,
Yep.
pretty much, yeah, it would work. You could put just a giant gel or some kind of diffusion in front of your light, and it would just replicate a whole bunch of light. It's trippy though. It's so hard to pretty much whatever you think it's gonna be it has its own life, and that's what I love about it. It looks organic. You can't really fully get a bit on it and like control it.
And I've found no video that explains it well. And with the Lightbridge system, and having looked at their all their videos online about it, none of them can explain how to use it properly, or how it works, or how it gives the quality of light that it does. And you're seeing this room that's been lit, and you see the size of the mirrors, and it just doesn't compute to me. Because you go, well, that's a small light source now. Well, how can that small light have lit that like that? It doesn't work. And I can see it, but I still don't understand, and I haven't been able to find anyone who can explain it properly.
It's very hard to explain, and it takes a long time to get your head wrapped around it, and I still don't totally have my head wrapped around it, because it trips you out, because you're bouncing light into it, and you're like, it's a 1x1. Okay, so I should get what I would be getting out of a 1x1 LED. It's just, replicating whatever the source is. But depending on the angle and what you're doing, that source can actually feel much broader than the actual size of the mirror sometimes. I think that it's really... it's really about trial and error, but one of the best ways to use them is to actually have a single source point light coming up from a C-stand, basically at a 90-degree angle coming straight up, and then hitting the mirror, and then adjusting the mirror on an arm or a head so that you can make it go in whatever direction you want to. It's very hard to kind of get your head around just having the mirror there and then bouncing a light into it. But going up into it and then adjusting it seems to have a tremendous amount of control. Plus, it gives you the ability to do some amazing things with single light stands, especially when you start to get into the slightly larger versions of the mirrors that are diffused. And then you can bounce. What's amazing about the system is if you're smart about it, what you can do is you can place other mirrors in other places in the room, and as long as they're picking up some of that original light source, then you can have multi-point lighting coming off of essentially one single light source. But it really does trip your head out, and I don't think it's the fault of anybody that it's so hard to describe. There's some nice stuff that Lightbridge does with that little room, and they bounce the light up and they put it in there with the different diffusion, and you can see how it's happening. That just scales based on the source point, point of light source, and also which mirror you use. But it takes, none of us are mathematicians. You're right, Kit. I mean, that just makes my head hurt. But I need to see things. And so that's why I say,
Yeah, I watched all those videos and felt the same way, Ben. I'm like, okay. I literally sat down and for hours watched every Lightbridge, and I found their series, and I watched the whole thing, and by the end I just had more questions.
Yeah.
I'm going, I'll watch another one.
And I
This
just
guy
felt it's just so good, and everyone needs it. And I'm like, yes, I need it, but why?
Why?
Well,
and how does it work? Explain to me.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, is that I'm going, well, I don't know which ones I need, which one, and you're trying to, in your head, work out scenarios where you're going to use it and whether it's worth the investment in putting into that. And I still have no idea. And as James says, I really need to get a hold of a set from somewhere, or rent a set for a weekend and just figure it out.
I think what really helped me was I went down to LA in January before the world imploded, and there was an event at Canon in Burbank, and they had two relatively well-known cinematographers come in, and they were really seeing the system for the first time the day they set up. They hadn't really used it on set, and then we basically they did a little presentation where they used some really large ones with big light sources lighting from outside, but also smaller ones where they were doing, interview style setups. And it was really interesting to see people who light for films and how they use these mirrors in different ways, and the way they got excited about the control. Because one of the things that I think the mirrors give you, especially once you start to get into the diffusion levels, is like a feathering finesse that you don't necessarily get when you're using a regular light, because it's doing something that we love about light, which is most of us are drawn towards bounce light, right? Bounce light really is our favorite because it is organic, like you said, Caleb, but there's that finesse of just taking a mirror and just moving it a few inches and seeing how it changes the way the light falls off of something or the way it hits something. And I think that that's what's so fun about working with those mirrors, is that you kind of feel, I don't know, it gets your creative going, because you're not just setting up a light with a huge softbox, which can look really nice and pretty. You're really like figuring stuff out. I don't know. I just love doing it. And it sounds like for you, Caleb, it was a lot of fun doing it as well. Like you're having a good time when you're doing it as well. Yeah.
100%. And now I want to do mirrors everywhere, like this setup behind me. I'm like,
Tommy,
get rid of it, tear the lights down. It's economical too. Like you said, you point one light in one corner of the room, and then you just set up all these little mirrors. And it like, you go
I
nuts.
didn't blow you off. Come on, Tommy. That's not true. Give me a break. And I'll drink whiskey with somebody anytime. Yeah, you might have actually been the one that canceled, Mr. Fancy Pants with your orbiters over there. I don't know what happened. I'm pretty sure, but I'll take the blame. I could do that. It's no problem. I'll get you a mirror next time I see you. Thoughts on the new Aperture Amaran lights, the cheaper versions of the 120 and 300. So these are the two. Is it the 100 and the 200? Is that what they're called, Mr. Caleb Pike?
100, 100D, 100X, 100, 200D, 200X. Yeah.
Right. But their array is different. They don't have the same LED array that the Aperture, like 120D. Definitely not the 300 and the 600 have. The bicolors especially have to have a certain array. So when you're going to the bicolors, you're going to probably get a different quality of light than if you were using the... I don't understand what Aperture's doing with their bicolor LEDs, their chip-on boards, but they're configuring them in a certain way where it's not just like a strip and a strip. They're interchanged and stuff, right? They're in like some...
It's kind of a strip.
Scattered pattern.
The lensing is where they got fancy. Actually took my 300D apart and almost destroyed it.
Really?
And didn't include that in the review. But it's I can't remember exactly, but it's pretty much, it's kind of like other people. I know they talked about how it wasn't, but it really is like everyone else's.
Yeah.
But the lensing is what's different. So like, you know how much work they put into that new reflector they have, like the engineering behind that. That's where they're really pushing the envelope. Is not just the chips, but the So there's a lens that like is able to mix them together.
Got it.
To reduce shadows and still work with all of their spots.
But that's not on the Amaran 100 and 200, is my understanding.
Correct.
Whatever that is. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I have
Keeps
played with
costs
them.
down. Yeah, and?
Tommy and I aren't supposed to talk about opinions, if I recall, embargo rules.
All right.
But,
wait, even though they're announced? Oh, not yet.
It's
okay.
Well, you can pre-order them now, and I would recommend you do that.
Yeah.
Because I like them
there you
a
go.
lot.
And at $199, $249, $299, and $349. There it is. He snuck it in. It's been a while, by the way. It has been a while.
I didn't say, opinions necessarily, but
no, he didn't break anything. He just said you might want to pre-order.
If I'm just watching, I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut up now.
You're saying people should? No, come on. Yeah, Tommy, we heard about the fact that Aperture lights break when they drop. A lot of lights break when they drop. Not all of them, but most of them do. How much would it cost you to break the embargo? I don't know. Is there a dollar amount when you break an embargo? I've been under embargo many times. I just sign it.
I just think you no longer hear from them.
Yeah, you're done. You're out.
That's the industry standard. Is you just suddenly no longer get replies.
Yes. So Clay canceled his 2x VL300 order and got two 200Ds and one 200X for the same price. There you go.
I won't tell you what I think about the light, but I will say, I'm looking for things that I can sell and maybe put a couple more.
They're adorable.
Pre-orders in. They're
Yeah.
so cute. And the color, I saw Tommy's photos, beautiful.
Yeah.
Just lovely.
Kit says, I know Ted, but Ted seems like a nice guy, but just wait until you see him at your front door with an aluminum baseball bat. I added baseball.
That's funny.
It hits home a little more, Kit, when you say baseball bat,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. You know.
That's funny.
Yeah. You know, everybody's got organized crime, and I
We
can
can
definitely
talk
see
about-
Ted running a syndicate. He could definitely be running like a numbers game
Those
in
nice
the back.
guys that like continues to like chuckle and smile as he's, taking care of business. Like the Joker level.
He's running a
Something.
live stream at the same time. Yeah.
It is interesting to think about this move. It's a big move for them to go
It
from
is.
like
Yeah.
innovation and then all these other like Godox was on the precipice. Is that the right word?
Precipice.
Peak
Precipice.
of
The peak.
The
The summit.
being able to the summit. They were catching up in a big way.
Yeah.
And this I mean $200 for aperture.
That's amazing.
It's not a 120D when it comes to build quality and like fit and finish and all that, but it's pretty phenomenal. And so it's an interesting move for them, really going after that lower end market.
Yep.
Because what do those 100-watt Godox go with? Costs?
I don't know, but not $199, right?
Yeah. Well, I think they have like they're 100 watt. I'm trying to remember. But yeah,
360
it's
grad.
pretty crazy.
Why you
It's
tripping
crazy.
on the on Jem's mic? What you tripping about? Tell me about that. It says, yeah, and now Jem's mic also. I'm tripping. I don't know. Maybe you're tripping. I need an answer to that. Yeah, they're
Is it that we
killing
can
it.
see it?
Oh, maybe. Can you? Oh, yeah, right here. Look, here, just ever so slightly. You just see just a tiny, tiny bit of it right here. Like, I'll make it even worse, so it's even more
I
annoying.
thought that was like a chip in my screen or something. So that makes me feel better. Yeah, I get
There you
that.
go. Hello, kids. Yeah, they're killing, and with Sidus Link and everything else,
Dadgummit.
they
Yes.
are. They're really look. They're coming in, and they are the mistake that they can make. We can talk about mistakes that people can make. Is don't create too many SKUs. You're going to confuse your audience. They're going to have too many. There it is. They're going to have too many lights. And so they have to be really careful. They need to be able to compete and make sure that they're, I guess, fending off some of the competition. But they've been, behave yourself, David. They've been they've been really changing the perception in the mid to high end of the market, where people are starting to use aperture lights on bigger productions, right? So I think that the mistake they can make as a company is to now go too far downstream and have too many products in their line, and it's going to dilute their brand. I'm not saying they're diluting their brand right now, but I'm saying they could run into a situation like that. And they're already having a problem, though Ted has recently, addressed that as of yesterday or today, in terms of being able to fulfill back orders, and they're ramping up manufacturing, and they're doing all of that stuff, which I think is fantastic. But what we need as a community is we need lights that are available, and we need lights that are reliable, right? They need to be rock solid in terms of reliability. And so we'll just see how this all plays out. But I'm always concerned when any company expands their product line so much that it not only dilutes the brand, but creates confusion in terms of what choices you should make. Because there's already people asking questions. Should I get a 200 or should I get a 120D? Should I get a 300 or should I get a 200? And that creates a lot of confusion, especially because we have advancements in terms of LED technology, in terms of lensing, in terms of actual output doesn't necessarily and isn't always based on the number of watts that the unit draws. So there's a lot of things that come into play. Any
So presumably,
feelings on
with
it?
what you were saying about the lensing system that's going in front of the chips on those. So presumably, does that mean that with these cheaper range, that you can't use them with things like the Fresnel attachment or with the projector attachments, because you are going to be able to see that.
You technically
Okay, so
can, but like they'll fit on. But things like the spotlight mount,
yeah,
like those
yeah,
are
the spotlight
specifically
mount, so
engineered for, I haven't tried my
for that
spotlight
lens.
mount with it yet.
But you're going to be able to see, because that is going to project that pattern of whatever's going on underneath it, rather than with that lens system. So
Yeah,
if
you
you're
might
going to
just
be
get kinda
bouncing,
weird stuff.
or you're going to be diffusing it in more traditional means, then yes, they'll be fine and fairly equivalent. But that is going to be the limitation of them, I guess.
They're really bright, great little fixtures.
Right.
They're just like the Godoxes, really. It's like a tiny version of that. Someone mentioned the SL100, which is the light I was thinking of. The 100 watt retails for $240. So it's that shrunk down to this tiny little adorable body.
Copy.
For $200.
But Kit's making a point here. They're releasing the 100 and the 200 surprise products before they release the 60. So again, there's that.
Or 60?
No, isn't it the 60 is a little? What's the little one? Maybe it's not called the 60D.
MC?
No,
F7?
they have that other. They have another small light that's supposed to replace the little light, and they showed it in the summer. I thought it's the 60D.
The mini 60s, mini 20s.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but they
20Ds.
they had the original 20s, and now they've come out with the new one.
I'm sorry. I completely forgot about that guy.
So they have the 60D and the 60X, and then now those are coming out after these 100s and 200s. Again, it's that whole situation. Now you're going to have a 60D, a 60X, a 100, a 200, a 120, a 3. It's a lot of fixtures, and I get it, but I think they should slow down.
Another way to think of it is if you look at their website, it kind of tells you, I think, what direction how they're kind of looking at things.
Yeah.
So if you go to the Aperture's website, I don't want to turn this into a giant Aperture ad, but you go to products, they've got by function and then family.
Yeah.
So they kind of are separating things into like, Nova. That's obviously their big boy. We've got Lightstorm, which is the majority of their single source lights.
Yep.
And for the first time, Amaran, which is kind of their budget end, and really where they started with lighting, if I remember correctly.
Yes, no, it's correct. You're right. Yep.
This is the first time we're seeing that kind of style of light, I think. And then that's Accent, and the M series, the MC.
Yep.
It looks like that's just the MC, right? Oh no, they're including the MX, MC, M9, all the little baby lights.
Yep.
So it's interesting. I do feel, I don't know, yeah.
I don't know. I think yeah.
There's a crap ton of lights. Like I keep forgetting they have all these. There's like 7 different small lights, right?
There's so many different lights, and I remember having a conversation with Ted. It seems like years ago, maybe it was only a couple of years ago, where Deity was still under the Aperture umbrella. And I was like, you gotta separate those two brands, because everybody at that point already thought of Aperture as a lighting company. So putting Deity under that umbrella just made things really confusing. I agree, David. I think Amaran should be its own spin-off. I think that should sort of be the budget line, and they should put stuff into that. Yeah. And then they should just keep Aperture in that other line, and they can see where it goes and then decide. But Aperture to me is really made huge inroads even in the last 12 months in terms of who's buying and using those lights. And their build quality's gotten a lot better too. So you can really see those lights being used on a truck, and being brought out and competing with some of the other fixtures that are out there. So we'll see, Then
again, they only sell lights. But I don't know. Yeah.
But a lot of freaking lights, dude. Yeah.
But another thing to consider is there's a lot of these lights are really old, and maybe they're going to continue to phase out. Like if they had an MC, an F7 Mark II of some kind.
Yep.
Oh man, can you imagine F7?
Great,
MC
love it. Yeah.
Power. MC F7. They've got the bulb. they teased a tube, sort of, but not really on Twitter. Did you see that?
I did.
No.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm
Maybe
down
just
with
pulling
that.
everyone's legs. Yeah.
I don't know.
And then their big boy lights.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
if I were them
anyway.
as a company, and I'm not, but I would take the MC and I would start expanding upon that. You've got to fill in between, their larger 300 and the MC, and there's a lot of companies doing that already. I mean, you've got Luxley, who has some great fixtures. You've got that P1 from Bowling. There's a lot of smaller RGB WW fixtures that are giving a lot more output than the MC. What the MC is giving you is price point's great, Sidus Link, the whole app control is amazing. Though I have to say, Luxley's doing a pretty good job overall in terms of the way they're doing things, and I think that they need to expand their panels a little bit. I think that that's probably what people really want. It's not that they don't have panels; they have Amarin panels, which we know about. And they were really the first company to take that LED array and just make this crazy array for their bicolor, which I guess made it a little more organic. And it was virtually, that light, right? It's funny because the F7 is very destructible, but amazing in terms of output and sort of size. But the Amarin light, remember the original panel? I still have one. That thing is indestructible. I mean, they actually built that thing to basically be indestructible. And it would be great if they took that concept and whatever the F
light.
I guess it is, and the array is all weird, like the LEDs are in a weird pattern inside of it, and it's this really thick.
That's
a
yeah.
light storm.
That's a light storm. You're right. Sorry.
Tri-8.
Yeah, it's
That
the
thing's
light storm.
indestructible,
Yeah, the Tri-8 is. I'm sorry. And again, that's the confusion. That's now the light storm thing, and it would be great if the F7, the next one. What is going on?
Yeah, buddy.
Come on, here it is. Look at this. Wait a minute. There we go. That's that one. Wait, everything's getting messed up here. I'm trying to talk to the people over at Ecamm. So 1999 from David. He
Amazing.
It's a ridiculous super chat here. Still waiting on your mannequin barn loft studio setup. It'll happen. Maybe I'll get little tiny mannequins for tabletop and we'll just use a lot of mirrors all the time. But thank you very much, David. Much appreciated. That will go to a new ball of scotch. Indestructible F7. Can you imagine like an indestructible F7 like that one that you just mentioned?
Yeah.
That would be super cool.
That'd be rad.
It would be.
I just had an idea. Thank you, David, for this idea that you planted into my mind. But I think when Jem is ready for his next level of barn work, I think we should do a fundraiser.
Yeah.
Or not a fundraiser, but like a stream. And if we reach a certain dollar amount,
yes,
I think you should do a video where you're not wearing a shirt and you're with the mannequin.
Never gonna happen.
Something like
you could definitely have me with the mannequin, but you're never seeing me without a shirt with the mannequin.
However much,
good luck with that.
However much money you raise in this endeavor, I will match it to make that not happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to see in this world.
Some kind of something like that with the mannequins. I think it should be in the future.
Well, we're going back to that other special interest site that Jem got demonetized for mentioning last time.
Oh,
so.
great.
Unbelievable. This is the little Lupo super panel. This is a bright little sucker, man. I bought this about a month and a half ago, and I just wanted to have. I love having all those little lights to do things with. Yeah, that's the B7C over there, hanging out up in that little area right there. I'm playing around with that. Kind of fun. What do you think about the DOP Choice Dual 600D mount? Looks awesome. Put two 600Ds inside of a DOP Choice. It's not going to be inexpensive,
Madness.
but it's awesome.
No.
We'll call it.
More than the 600Ds.
It's ridiculous. What?
So there'll be more than the 600Ds.
Oh, yeah, DOP Choice. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Need a
Tommy
replacement
wants
tightening nut. $500.
500. Tommy wants you to do a full review shirtless, Caleb, but just don't address it the whole time. So it's just, you got to do deadpan,
Oh yeah,
like
that's what I was
British
thinking
style.
with you. It's like, hey guys, just
Yeah.
like a here up shot, no shirt
So bad.
with the mannequin.
So horrible. Everything about it is just not right for the world. Don't even let it happen.
See, I think you got to lean into it. Everyone loves it. Just be like the Christmas room, but mannequin, the mannequin, the mannequin room.
It would be the worst ugly sweater contest you've ever seen. Any thoughts on the Blackmagic Speed Editor? No thoughts because I haven't used it, except for I think it's cool that you can, get it for the same price as Studio.
I think it's an amazing deal. I'm a big Resolve user, and I will probably buy one in the new year, I think.
Do you have Studio already?
Yeah. No, I don't have the Speed Editor, but I have the
Studio.
17 Studio is phenomenal and incredibly stable. I think it was version 5 of the beta came out today. It's great, and just incrementally all the stuff that I like that Premiere does in a slightly more efficient way, that is now doing. And the cut page is incredibly quick. It does work really well, and particularly for doing assemblies. And not even just assemblies, it's quite good for getting a fairly tight cut quickly. And I'm really interested to use the speed editor to see if that speeds things up yet further. So I'll be getting on soon.
Nice. How is the 805, by the way, Caleb? Do you like it? It's pretty light, right?
Really nice.
Yeah?
I really do enjoy it. It's very light, but it's got this, I don't know, it tastes like something, which a lot of light beers just don't. So I'm quite a fan, I've decided. Yeah.
Post Color Gear says, bring around the mannequin around the next NAB and don't address it. I don't know what that means. Like
that would be amazing.
Hannibal Lecter?
You should just walk around with it like it's your date. I think that would be hilarious.
And talk
but never mention it. Yeah, just talk to it. And
just in the middle of
drag it behind me. Like,
no. Just hold it like this and you're talking to someone and you're like, no, don't say that. No, that's rude.
That's so rude. I can't believe that. You're so mean. Stop it. No. Knock it off. All right. Yeah, great. I'm getting...
Yeah.
Andres is getting a speed editor tomorrow. A friend did not...
Oh.
Sick.
Oh, didn't want it. Sold it to you for 150. 150 what?
Like
There's a lot of different types of currency in this world, Andres. 150 what? Come on. Beta 5 of Resolve 17 is awesome. Huge improvement. Less taxing on GPU.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Love it.
All right. Tommy's cheeky. We know that. Yeah.
We're one certain keyword away from...
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Strike or whatever.
I don't need any more strikes, okay, kids? I'm trying to make a go of it here in the world, and you're not making it easy. There you go. Clay's making
Clay,
the move.
you just need to make the decision to do a project in it, and then you learn it really quick. I can't do the thing of like this week I'm going to sit and learn to use a piece of software. No, just commit to doing a project in it. Pull your footage in, give yourself an extra few days than you would have done normally, and job done.
Andres is showing his age if he knows what the movie The Mannequin is. So I'm just saying, and I do, and I fully will accept my age. That fourth box on the live stream is slipping. I can't even. It's getting really weird. It always does about 2 minutes before the show ends. They just let loose. It's just like a throw up in the chat.
David dropping just a nice wholesome comment. I like Ben's hat.
That is nice. I do too.
You know, the reason this has gone on is because I'm so in desperate need of a haircut, because I've been sitting in here editing for sort of 5-6 weeks. Hairdressers were closed for weeks. They're open again now, but you can't get a haircut for love nor money. And it's just an embarrassing mess. So it's got to the point where I have to cover it up.
Just surprise your lady and do one of these.
It's got like
It's coming. It's coming. I reckon I've got like another. It's thinning so much that there's got to be a point.
Finally, he finally joins the club. I love it. It's about time.
Right, I've got another.
We're gonna have to think really hard about this. This is not gonna look good. This is not good PR.
No.
He can wear the hat. He can wear the hat. He can wear the hat.
You'll
Oh
be the
my
hat
God.
guy. That'll offset everything.
I reckon one more year. Yeah, I reckon. So we've got time to think about it.
Yeah. I do have a question here, which I should address before we wrap up. Am I going to make any more Gearbox 2.0 videos? Yes, but what's happening right now is the barn is being turned into a studio, and I'm also very fortunately working on a project that's been going on for quite some time, which is taking up a ridiculous amount of my time. And I'm just focusing on taking care of my family right now, and a lot of other people who are working on the project, and I'm really feeling very fortunate to be doing that. So there are plans for more educational content, more videos, but I don't have the bandwidth to do it right now, which is why even with my client, they know that at about 2 p.m., 1:30 to 2 p.m. every Wednesday, I shut down at least until 6:30, and I get to do Camera Flask, and I get to do News Shooter, and I get to spend time with my friends and chat about gear and stuff. And it is an important part of the sanity. And there we have it. I hear the pitter-patter of kids somewhere else in a different location.
Good recovery.
And we'll say that with this last parting saying, no box, but several bags. Everybody, it's been beautiful. Are we doing one next week, gentlemen? Are we doing? Are we attempting?
I might be on the road.
Let's talk about
check,
it.
Though.
We'll see how this all goes. I'd like to do one more before the end of the year if we can, even if it's not on a Wednesday. Can the three of us talk by Friday about this? Is that okay? Will you bring that up?
Yeah, I can do next week, but I can't do the week after, so we'll see.
Let's see what happens, and really, we do need to figure it out, but we do need to sort this out. And right at the end, gee whiz, 51.50. Come on, $14.99. Australian, I believe, if I'm right. Is that what the A is?
I think so. It is, yeah.
So
either that or you're calling me an ass, but that's okay.
Thank you.
That is so awesome, and very much appreciated. We would like to do that. By the way, Tommy, we do a stream only for our fans. We don't call them fans. Nobody shows up to this thing unless they know what's going on. It's kind of like a speakeasy, You don't have to knock on the door with a secret password, but we're just hanging out every week, and we love it, and we love everybody coming every week. We'll figure this out. We're going to try to find at least one day where the three of us are available before the end of the year. So just keep a lookout, and I'll try to post it a couple of days before it happens. Any parting words, gentlemen, before I reset and we go into year in review, favorite products with News Shooter?
No, I'm just blocking out 360. So we'll, yeah.
If we don't see you all, may have a wonderful Christmas. Have a beautiful week and weekend.
Great holiday season.
Thinking about y'all, and we'll see you at some point before the end of the year.
Yes, for sure. Some point before the end of the year. See everybody on the other side.
Maybe I'll do a stream at home.
That'd be awesome. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.